everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Nicole and I'm a part-time reseller on Poshmark, and today I'm going to talk about my first live show experience doing a solo show. So I made a video a couple weeks back where I talk about my first live show and how I made a bunch of sales and how, what I did. I ended up doing it with someone. I co-hosted with one of my friends, but recently I've been trying to just start doing them myself and get a little bit more comfortable. And so I'm going to talk about my first solo show and basically what helped me get over my nerves of being on camera and what I would recommend to you if you're nervous to go live, and like how, if I had any success going live individually versus going live with somebody else, and just like tips that I'll recommend. And I will break down, how many sales I made and things like that. And maybe this could help you feel the motivation to, get started with live selling. Make sure that you're subscribed so you never miss a future video that I do here on this channel. So real quick, before we get into the video, I wanted to talk about the fact that I'm going to be moving soon. I briefly hinted that in one of my other videos, but this might be the last time that you see this setup at this current place. I'm actually moving down the street in a couple weeks. Maybe by the time this video goes out, I will already be moving. So you might see a new setup coming shortly. I'm gonna have a whole Posh room dedicated to all my Posh stuff, so my inventory and my desk and all my stuff. So I'm really excited for that, and I'll definitely have some more new backgrounds and backdrops coming. I'll still have this egg chair, so I'll definitely still be using this to film, but I also might have a different setup than you're used to seeing. So hopefully that's going to be exciting for you, and hopefully you stay tuned to see those new filming setups. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I did a live show with somebody else a couple weeks back, and I decided that I enjoyed it enough to kind of do it on my own and get started. So I decided to just do it. And this is something I said for years that I would never do. I think about 3 or 4 years later, I finally I work up the nerve to do it on my own. And let me tell you, it was very nerve-wracking because, again, you're talking to yourself on a camera, you're looking at the screen, and I was very nervous to do it. And I was like, look, I'm not gonna get any more comfortable doing this. I just gotta do it. And that's kind of my biggest thing. It's just like, if you're nervous to do it, if you don't want to be on camera, if you're worried people are gonna make fun of you or whatever, just do it. You'll realize it's really not that bad. I had so many people that were so supportive in my comments, and also that were just kind of there to support me. And you don't realize how much people are willing to help you when you're just getting started. And I kind of do the same thing for other people. When I see them doing their first live, I hop in, I help them moderate in the comments, I hit the heart button so it kind of pushes their show, I promote their show for them. So it's just really nice to be able to do that for somebody else, because I appreciate when people do that for me. But it's really nice because I feel like you could sell more than when you do a co-host. And that's one thing I realized is when I was co-hosting, it was a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't selling as much as I was able to sell in an individual show. So I was probably selling double, if not more than that. And so it made it really nice to be able to, sell as much as I wanted to, and really, take the time to really get to know my audience and my customers. And so I ended up going live, and like I said, I just did it. I didn't listen to my nerves anymore, and I just took the plunge and did it. I ended up, before I did the show, I started a tag list, which is also a great tip to do, is for your previous buyers or for people that that are going to come into your show and support you, like your friends or things like that. Make a list on your phone in the Notes app of all the handles of your past buyers and also your friends and anyone that you think is going to come in and support your show. And then every time you go live, you can copy and paste that tag list into the show, because I found one, I was forgetting people's usernames while I was live, and two, I don't really want to sit there and have to type out all the handles. So I made this long list, and it was basically all my recent show buyers and also some of my friends, and I just tag them as the show starts, so it kind of pulls them in, whoever's available. But I find that's a great tip to do, and I also recommend it's great to play some music and really just be engaging with your audience. So I just kind of was let me know what sizes you guys are all looking for, or I would ask where everyone was from, just to kind of get people talking. And it's really helpful to have people in the comments. So if you have one person or anyone that you could reach out to say, hey, can you really just come in the comments and comment and talk to me as I go through it, it makes you feel less alone, and it also helps the algorithm, because the more engaging your show is, the more people are commenting, the more that your show is going to get pushed. So really, it's helpful to have someone there, even if they're, not able to moderate, but they're just able to comment. Or if they are able to moderate, that's another great thing. Like, they can post, welcome to the show, drop your sizes for the host, let her know if you're looking for anything, like all this kind of thing. Or they can just kind of like, be there to answer a question maybe that you might have missed, or things like that. So it's really helpful to have someone there, but you don't need it. It's not necessary. In fact, I did a show last night where I didn't really have anyone like moderating, and I had no one commenting for probably about a half hour. And then eventually I had a couple of people come in and they were purchasing a bunch of stuff. So you don't always need people, but it's definitely an added bonus, especially for your first show. So I think for my first solo show, I ended up selling, I don't know, I think it was more than 20 pieces, and I sold to, 4 or 5 people. And again, I can't normally do that in like a silent show, so that was pretty great, and I was pretty ecstatic that I was able to do that. And I remember looking at my like total viewer count at the end of the show, because it gives you all your stats, and I remember seeing that it was like 600 something people, and I was like so shocked to know that that many people came into my show. Now keep in mind, I was live for about an hour and a half, just because I started getting really tired by the end of it. I was tired on my feet, and I just needed a break. So I was really impressed that I got that many people into my show, and I know that like that's probably not that many for people that have been doing lives for a long time, but to think that 600 people came into that first show and I felt like I didn't know what I was doing is kind of scary. But like, no one ever said anything mean to me. In fact, everyone was so welcoming in the comments, everyone was so nice, and everyone kind of just was like, I'm so glad you're finally doing a live, like that's awesome, you're gonna help me motivate myself to go live and all of that. So it is a little scary to see that number, but to think that I did it, it made me feel more comfortable to do another one, and then now I like find it to be kind of fun to do them. But I will say, you definitely want to make sure that you have like a drink, like whether that be water or something else on hand, because I got so thirsty from like talking to the camera a lot, and I ended up having like a sparkling water one of the times, and that doesn't do the trick. You really need like water or something that's like hydrating, because I was so thirsty, and that's actually why I ended up having to stop last night, because I got so thirsty and I ran out of my water. So make sure that you have water on hand, make sure that your phone is charging, and make sure that you have a lot of good pieces. I just started running things at random, and I kind of just asked people like what they're looking for, or if they're looking for any sizes in particular. Sometimes you kind of even can remember people's sizes that come to your shows prior, so then you kind of just start running them when you see them come in. And so there's always different options that you can do, but definitely be organized. Maybe even organize it by size, so you have all your smalls together, your mediums and your larges, etc. That way when someone's asking for a specific size, you don't have to kind of like go around and try and find one. Okay, the mediums are right here, I could pull one. And you can ask people what styles they're looking for, what categories they're looking for. I just pull in a bunch of stuff to my shows, and I also say my closet is open too. You could pull stuff from my closet. So it's really nice, but also at the same time, I do unlisted inventory, because I still have a lot of things that are unlisted as well. So again, there's a lot of options that you can do, but find a little setup that works for you. I also recommend even having a chair. Like, that might seem so silly, but like a chair is really helpful, because if you're on your feet for a couple hours, it could be really exhausting. And the first time I did this, I stood for however long it was, and I woke up the next day and my back was feeling it. So again, make yourself very comfortable, make yourself feel like at home doing it, because you don't want to be uncomfortable, because that's going to make it really hard for you to focus on what you're trying to do. And like I said before, if you're nervous to go live and you are one of those kind of people like I was in the beginning that said, I will never do that, I can never do it, I'm too nervous, it's too scary. Believe me, I've been there. I said that for, I don't even know, probably 3-4 years before I decided to do it, and now I actually really enjoy it. I find it to be fun, but you really don't know if you're gonna end up liking it or not until you actually do it. And I always just thought I would hate it, because I don't like being on camera, and the idea of being live on a camera is really scary, because I can't like edit it or anything. I can't edit out like the awkward pauses or anything. But again, it's just kind of fun, and I've seen some shows where people are really, really professional and organized. I've also seen some shows where it's kind of like slow and not as engaging, but they still get sales. So you could be anywhere in between, and you could still have success with the Posh shows. And at the end of the day, they're really pushing these shows, so it's really important for you to, participate in them, because they're really, really pushing them in the algorithm. And I find that my closet is having more success this year, because I'm actively going live a lot more. So I find that is just beneficial too, to make more sales. You can definitely sell a lot more than just people that are, coming across your listings. a lot of people like live shopping, so it's definitely a great way to get new eyes on your list. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something, and I hope this can help you maybe motivate yourself to get started. Like I mentioned in a previous video, if you want to go live and you're nervous but you don't know who to reach out to either be there in the comments for you or to maybe co-host with you, you can reach out to me. I would love to, be there for you and help you out, maybe even come on the screen with you to get you familiar and comfortable. I know I really appreciate it when people do that for me, so I just kind of want to like return the favor for somebody else that's really feeling, super not comfortable at first, and maybe that can make them feel, more comfortable. If you want to see another video on some new feature app updates that have been released recently with regards to past shows, you could click either one of these two videos, but until next time, I will see you then.